Hi everyone, I'm so happy that you're here to join me for the Way of the Animal podcast. So for today's podcast, you had the topic in mind, Alastair?
I did. Anger and frustration. It's no indication of how I'm feeling.
Okay, that's good. Excellent.
Totally unrelated.
Right, okay, good. So you won't be very knowledgeable on the topic?
No experience in that.
Okay,
yeah.
Excellent. Well, it's going to be a short podcast then, isn't it? Wonder what it's like to feel angry and frustrated.
Can't imagine. But it's funny how frustration leads to anger quite readily. Mm-hmm. Because, I don't know, I don't think of myself as an overly angry person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just stare blankly at me.
No, I agree. Well, you're always quite calm. And then if you do get angry, I know that it's bad.
But then I suffer from frustration a lot. Mm-hmm. And then frustration tends to make me grumpy.
Do you think as well, like, it builds? Like, cause
100%, yeah.
Like, I feel like frustration is kind of a form of anger, maybe, or sort
I think frustration is a form of anger, and I think you're right that it builds. Like, you're 100% right, because like a little thing frustrating you, it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. But then, if that isn't resolved, and then the next thing frustrates you, and then the next thing frustrates you, and then the next thing frustrates you, and then very quickly you're
very angry.
Yes, that's the words I was looking for.
It's like you just haven't let it go or dealt with it.
I think it's the dealing with it. I think because, or at least for myself, because I don't feel like I hold on to frustration, but until I rectify the frustrating thing, then it still frustrates me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so unless it's actually dealt with, you can't let it go?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a frustrating thing, yeah. Because usually something that frustrates me is something not getting done, failing to get done, getting done badly. Yeah, that sort of thing. And until they're sorted out, it frustrates me.
And it's really interesting. I hope that I've learned to let go of some of that a bit more. Mm-hmm. Be a bit more fluid with it. But I find for me, anger and frustration tends to come out, and it's generally directed back at myself. Mm-hmm. And it's usually when I'm just not feeling great. So I'm a bit overwhelmed, and it's just, I get really angry and frustrated because I'm not functioning properly, or things just feel more irritating in general. And so I get annoyed at it. That
makes sense. Well, no, getting angry and frustrated at yourself doesn't make sense.
No,
it makes sense with what I see in you.
Yeah. But yeah, getting beyond that, like letting it go, like, it's interesting. Like, it's not where I thought we would go. Is that, does everything need to resolve for us to be able to let go of it?
I don't think in all situations. So, someone cuts you up when you're driving, and it makes you angry.
You're going to resolve it.
There isn't really a resolution for that.
You know, it's made me think of something. And, you know, if you start, so you get, because the frustration sort of, it simmers in you. It's like just sits there simmering. And then something small can make you feel angry.
Yes.
Like it creates a sort of outburst. And what there's a Wayne Dyer quote, or a talk that he was talking about. And he was talking about, you know, when you squeeze an orange, what comes out is orange juice. So when you're squeezed a little and anger comes out, that's because you've got this anger just sitting in you that you haven't let go of.
That makes sense.
It's an interesting thought that if you are having angry outbursts, it's sort of smaller things. And, it's not great when people cut you up in traffic, but some people can get really upset about it, like to a level that is beyond the incidents that's happening. And, that's just an example, but in anything, your reaction seems to be way more than the thing that's caused it. And I think that's when you've got things built up in you that you haven't been dealing with, or you haven't let go of, or, whatever.
I think that's dead right. And that's what I see is in myself, is the frustration builds, and then little things annoy me and make me have an outburst of anger that have nothing to do with the frustration or the root cause, but they're just that bit to push me over simmering to exploding.
It's like the same with me, like I was saying, for whatever reason, if I'm not feeling great, I find things very irritating and like too much and overwhelming, and that makes me feel angry because it's just like I'm annoyed that it's putting me over the edge of where I'm at. You know?
That's it. So then, does that mean for a lot of people that have angry outbursts, probably the angry outburst isn't the root cause of their anger?
No, and they just need help. Yeah. Like they just.
There's just something simmering under the surface that they might not even be aware of. Yeah.
Or if they actually sat with themselves, to immediately be aware of. But it's that ability.
Sometimes it's hard to sit and look at yourself.
Yeah, it's that ability. If you keep busy, then you don't have to look at yourself. And that's another thing that I've noticed is I will keep busy to avoid dealing with how I'm feeling. Yeah. Yeah. However I'm feeling, I will keep busy, and then I don't have to deal with it.
Yes. It's interesting, anger, because I don't like the feeling of anger.
No, I really don't. I really struggle with anger. Actually, it made me think. Remember in the Walmart the other day, that person we were walking past, and we were just like, we need to leave. It was just like,
Yeah, they were quite unhappy.
They were really unhappy, but there was a lot of anger in there.
Yes.
Because when I deal with people, or I help heal people or animals, or whenever I'm sort of releasing anger, I feel it in my chest like a stabbing pain and breathlessness.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I felt near that person. We were trying to choose something in the aisle.
Yes, that's right.
A treat. We were getting a treat of a bag of crisps or chips, whatever you call them. And we're both, I don't know. Suddenly we couldn't make a decision. We just felt so wrong. We just had to get out of the aisle. I got out the aisle. I was like, oh, okay, that was not nice.
But I mean, that's the thing. Even for mere muggles like me, you can feel anger. Oh, it's that, I can cut the tension with a knife. It's you can feel that aura or energy or whatever it is in the room when you go in, or when you meet someone and they're really angry.
I feel like it's one of the most powerful energies.
There's probably some evolutionary thing to, be able to tell when we're in danger because someone's angry.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought of it that way. It's just, it's like it has a strong energy frequency.
It does.
Because every emotion is just energy in motion. So just a vibration and frequency, and that's why we can feel it.
Yeah.
But it's very strong. You can tell when someone's angry from a distance. You can tell without seeing their face. You can tell by the way they're standing.
You can tell by going into a room where there's only one person in the room that they're angry about something.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do then?
What, to let go of anger?
No.
Or?
Let's say you meet that person, you walk into the room, and there's someone standing in the room and they're really, really angry. Other than leave the room.
Turn around and walk away.
Back away slowly.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, ask if they're okay. Can't help myself. I feel like it's a bit of a punishment for me, but because you're either going to get the full, no, I'm not okay, can you believe this? So you're going to get the anger.
You're going to get the anger, you're going to get the rant, you're going to get them expressing how they feel and probably releasing how they feel.
They'll feel better.
Yeah.
You might not for a minute until you let go of it. And for me, I'll hold on to it. For you, you'll let go of it. Is that right?
I like to think so.
But if you notice as well, so this is how the sort of angry mobs form and things, is because like attracts like. It's the vibrational frequencies are attracted to each other.
Definitely.
So it's in the same way you build that anger inside of you bit by bit with each little frustration. If you're not letting it go, it gets bigger and bigger. You gather people around with you that also feel the same way and get angry, then you're never really dissipating it. So if the person, like, so say I said, oh, are you okay? And they have their rant and then I just let it go because I realise that it's not something that I want to be angry about, need to be angry about, and isn't really actually my problem, but, you know, I've helped them by listening. Well, then it dissipates and I can let it go because it's not mine.
Yeah.
But if it's something that actually equally you could be angry about too, then you're building it. And actually that's not helping anyone. Yeah.
And that'll be, like you say, that's how angry mobs start. That's how people get influenced by things they read on the internet and on the news. And, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Isn't this thing that's happening so terrible? And yeah, it is really terrible. And next thing you know, you've got a whole group of people who are saying the same thing, who maybe didn't originally feel that way, but were influenced by the energy and the anger of the mob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's a powerful energy. You know?
It is. So then, does that mean that you should always be asking yourself why you're angry or why you're frustrated, or like, how do you avoid...
Are you okay? What's wrong?
How do you avoid getting into that frame of mind?
By understanding that your anger is coming from somewhere and asking yourself that question of where it's coming from and then dealing with the core. And it appears we're getting puppy squeaky toy time in the background.
Yeah,
I assume it's coming through in the recording.
That's his anger management.
That's his anger management. Taking out the squeaky toy, so enjoy. It's that thing of asking yourself the question of what's the root of it. And sometimes it's actually something that when you get to the root of it is what I'd hate to say it, but it's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
It's just like,
always is.
And it's like we've talked about with the subconscious one, and it's worth, if you haven't listened to the podcast, but our subconscious is to listen to that, because our subconscious can create this amazing story on a very small thing that is now making you feel angry beyond the anger that you need to feel.
Oh yeah. The stories the subconscious can create is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and you know, and it's something that I've learned to do because I do end up holding on to emotions a lot.
Yeah.
Sort of letting them flow and letting them go has been a challenge that I've been learning to overcome. And when I ask myself the question, that's when I find the answer and then go, oh.
So what's the question you ask? Why am I angry, or what am I angry at?
Yeah. Just
both.
Yeah, whatever. And I tend to do free writing, so I just write.
Yeah.
You can ask it in your head and get the answers in your head. The writing just helps me to just let the words flow, and I don't correct anything.
Yeah.
It's messy, it's scribbly. It's just a case of letting things go, and sometimes it doesn't even, like, the origin doesn't come up for a minute, so it sort of skirts around the edges, and then it's and I'll even go, that I know what it is, it's this, that's what's been upsetting me. And actually, that's just really weird, but I can see why I've got to that, but I don't, and even in the writing of that tends to just turn my energy around from it. It's just I'm done with that.
Yeah,
you know?
It often is. And I remember one technique I saw, and I think it would be a Tony Robbins thing. Anyway, I think it was 7. Ask why 7 times.
Yeah.
So, why are you angry? No, but why? What? And just keep asking why.
That's why I have to keep writing. It's like I've got to at least write 3 pages. I can't just write 3 words and then think I'm done. I have to write a lot, or it's not It's not going to get to the answer.
That's it. So I'm angry at this. Why are you angry at that?
I like
because
that.
of this. Or why are you
7.
angry at that? Because,
I like that 7. So that's a really good one. That's a really good way of just getting to the core.
It works
of what's going
well
on.
with other people rather than, like, I find that hard to do with myself.
I did do, but it's something that I've learned to be better at.
Yeah, but
because I want to help myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to rely on other people to help me when I get in a funk all the time.
Yeah.
And so if I'm able to just set aside a bit of time and get a nice hot cup of tea or whatever and get my journal out and just sit and ask myself 7 times, apparently, that'll be a way of getting to the answers that I need to hear to let go of what I'm holding on to.
I can imagine that a lot of people get very frustrated when you keep asking them why.
Yes. Well, that's going to bring it all to the surface, isn't it? And then going to get rid of it.
I think that's the part of it, is that it kind of annoys them as well. So it gets the emotion flowing.
No, it's good. And that's what you need to do. And you might feel a little like off balance because it'll change how you feel after it. But you're only going to start to feel better and you notice that little things don't annoy you as much.
And, you know, I think equally it is okay to be angry. It is okay to be frustrated, because for me, most of the time, frustration and anger is because it's something I care about.
Yeah.
And it's because I care about it and it's important to me that I get frustrated and angry. So it's not a negative. Like, it's not a bad thing.
No. But it is if you hold on to it, keep building on it, and it doesn't flow through and out.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. If you don't use it to help the situation, if you just kind of wallow.
Well, it's that thing. It's like, if you're stuck in that energy and that feeling of anger and aren't making steps, moves, choices that allow you to feel better and move away from it, then it's not helpful that you're still angry. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have to be angry, you have to be aware, you have to understand the root cause of it, and then make steps, even baby steps, just to move through it.
Emotions, you're meant to feel the emotions. You're meant to allow emotions to happen. It's just about not getting stuck in them. And also it's like for you sometimes, well, I think more before, you used to just bottle up and show no emotions.
Yep.
And then so when the emotions, like I said, when it got to be too much, got angry, it was like, because it was, you just sat and simmered and built
just
boiling point and all the
surface.
steam come out. And
That's it.
So it's just knowing how you're, it's like, we always talk about having that awareness of how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And just acknowledge it, first.
And I think,
acknowledge it.
I think the most important thing is it doesn't matter how you're feeling, and it's always okay to feel that way. Like, it's always okay. If you're sad, if you're happy, if you're angry, it's okay.
Yeah.
But being aware of that's how you feel and why you feel that way is great. And then when you want to change it, you know why. Yeah,
it's like you've got to accept and acknowledge how you're feeling.
Yeah.
But before that, you need to be aware, because sometimes you're not even aware that that's how you're feeling. Yeah. So if you find yourself being overly emotional in any way to something that you feel like you shouldn't be over emotional to, then you know that you've got emotions sitting there that need dealt with, need released, but you need to be okay. I accept they're there. That's good. That's good. They're telling me something, and then I can help myself feel better.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a good idea.
Actually, it reminds me of when I created my Connecting with Animals course. And it was for understanding yourself and being aware of yourself before you connect with the animals, and then understanding your animals. And it was the 3 A's, didn't I?
That was it, yeah.
It was awareness, acknowledge, I can't remember.
Accept.
No, because acknowledge is accept.
Yes, it is.
I love how I can't remember. Anyway, but I think the third thing was create change or support.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
an action step.
Yeah, there's an action step. So it's like be aware of what's going on with you or your animal, because you know they have emotional outbursts too. So if they're more angry and aggressive than usual, they're having the same struggles that we humanly have, and you need to create ways of helping them feel supported and help them feel better as well as yourself.
Definitely.
You know, it's the same with our animals as it is with ourselves. Is we need to be aware, we need to acknowledge and be like, okay, well, that's how you're feeling, that's how I'm feeling. Well, that's
the interesting
fine.
thing with the animals, isn't it? Because quite often, if we're angry, our animals are angry.
Yeah, they'll just be more defensive, and you know, it always makes me think. You know, people are like, oh, dog's more barky. I'll just put a collar on it to stop it from barking more, and not asking the question, well, why are they more barky?
Is your dog trying to keep people away because it knows that you get frustrated with people? Yeah.
Or is it because it feels like you need to be safe, you know, or you're feeling insecure, so they're, it's that connection and that link, and it's just understanding that, yes, we've got our own things to deal with, but you can cross that over to with our animals, and it's the same concept. If you want to be aware, you acknowledge how they're feeling, and then you change whatever you think you're doing to help them feel better. And by help them, I don't mean train it out of them, because that's not how you deal with emotion with animals. It's about understanding where the emotion and why they're feeling like that, and helping them to feel better. And if you can't find the cause or whatever, then at least creating a supportive place for them to be themselves. And it's the same thing with humans. If you're struggling to deal with how you're feeling, at least feel supported.
At least know that you're not on your own with it, and you can, that makes sense. And I think dogs especially, they show the most mirroring.
I think because they're so domesticated and in our lives, but I think horses do too. I hear it from my mum with her horses a lot. Just behaving differently today. Well, how are you? So my question is always, when someone says their animal's feeling differently today, is how are you today?
Because they're definitely reacting.
Because they're either mirroring or they're responding to how you're feeling. So if you're struggling to know how you're feeling, look at how your animals are being, and they will show you how you're feeling, and then you'll know what's going on. And sometimes it's the animals are actually struggling with their own struggles and being in a way because of the way they are. But if it's, if you're already feeling a bit funny and the animals are feeling funny, it's coming from you. It's good questions. It's good things to think about. And I think the importance of asking yourself the questions. So you actually get to your own inner problems and causes, and you can do it yourself. And then let it go. And I think the thing as well is doing the work that I do with the energy healing and clearing out any imbalances and stuff is one of the main things that I'm looking at is emotions. And emotions from all different things can get trapped in our bodies. And then it's just an area where so if you find that every time you're angry you have a sore neck, you're going to want to speak to someone who works, well, someone like me, but someone who works with the body, emotions, and releasing things. Because probably what's happening is your neck is where the anger is getting stored. It's sort of what happens, but you can actually release all of that so that you don't even pick up the anger there in the first place, if that makes sense. You release all the stuck stuff, and then it doesn't want to go back there.
It's like the old cliche of getting a massage. You're carrying a lot of tension in your neck. You know? And it's mostly a lot of emotion.
And that's where massage is great, but sometimes you can feel quite emotional afterwards, and that's the emotional release coming from it. But with like the work that I do, the body code stuff that other people are doing, like they're able to get to the root emotions and really let it go. And I think that's like so valuable. Having had that work done with me, like it's changed me with a lot of the problems that I have with anxiety and things like that. It's just so much easier. So
it's good.
Yeah, it's interesting. yeah, I think that's been like...
It's interesting. Anger's an interesting topic.
Yeah. I think we just scratched the surface, but I think, you know, sometimes you need to start where you're at.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. You have to start with just getting aware of where you are.
Yeah.
And why you are.
And acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't emphasize that enough, because it's I shouldn't feel this way.
Yes,
and I do it to myself a lot.
Yeah. You make it into a negative when it's okay to feel angry at things. Like, things that frustrate and anger me currently, that's okay.
Yeah. But it's the process of, like, changing things so you can let it go.
Yeah.
So you can just not be holding on to that, because it changes how you're being throughout your whole day, and it changes the way your animals are around you. You know, it's like the way people respond to you is different, you know? So, yeah.
I think we both did very well to avoid the Hulk reference of the "you won't like me when I'm angry."
Oh. It wasn't even in my mind.
It was in my mind the moment this topic came up.
Oh, well, you got it in then.
I just picture Hulk and, "you don't like me when I'm angry."
When you said Hulk, I just thought, you know, Hulk smash.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you do.
That's what I do when I'm angry.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.